is, he's English, and so he's a proponent of gun control and everything else. Whatever. And
works so well there.
Your cute little English, attitude, great, Piers.
America.
And so last night he has on a guy that we don't talk about very often because he's so insignificant and we don't really care. But he's
also psycho.
Yeah,
can we just say what it is?
I think
guy
he is
psycho.
He can see a lot of things that other people can't see.
Like a conspiracy around every corner and in everyone's eyes. and if you don't agree with him, you don't just disagree. You're in on it. You're in on it
always.
To him and his minions.
I am, and
it's crazy.
And I said this in the pre-show. And Pat said, "Oh, really? You think this is what he?" I don't know because I don't pay attention to him. However, the last I checked, and this is about 10 years ago, I believe, he thought I was a CIA operative that helped orchestrate the cover-up of 9/11.
Yeah, the 9/11 conspiracy. Yeah. Keep in mind, if you think this guy's conservative, this is the guy. This is the architect of the 9/11 conspiracy. This is the guy who has pushed it and kept it going and talked about it every day for 12 years now.
Yeah, and it's amazing because he runs InfoWars, and really smart people have come up to me and said, I just saw this on something from InfoWars. Do you know anything about it? And I'm like,
yes,
stay away from it.
Immediately discounted.
Somebody came up to me just 2 days ago and said, we just bought like 1.5 billion rounds of Homeland Security, and I said, I don't know, might be. Well, I got it from InfoWars, and I'm like, okay, well,
no.
Then I can tell you right now, it's most likely not true. And the problem is that might be true, but you have to be careful of who you get your news from. We may have purchased 1.5 billion rounds of ammunition as Homeland Security. We might have done that. But you have to be careful on who you get stuff from because their agenda makes a difference. And this guy's agenda is that the United States government blew up the World Trade Center. Mm-hmm. So when you start with that premise, you're in a whole different category.
Yeah, and remember, put yourself back a few years. I know we have short memories, but this is the guy who was convincing 50% of Democrats that George W. Bush was responsible for bringing down the World Trade Center. He was that close with them. The only difference now is that there's a Democratic president. And if Mitt Romney had won, he would be saying all the same horrible things about a guy who wasn't doing them now. Yeah, you can't trust a word the guy says.
Yeah, the word. This is the Van Jones of well, I don't even want to say the right because he's not on the right.
He's not.
He's so far right. He's left.
He's just nothing.
It's creepy. I don't know what
he is a really spooky guy. And you just have to be careful of it. And as long as you know who he is, it's fine.
And he's the guy who saw Charlie Sheen's hernia.
Well, you know what? I've seen your hernia.
That's right.
He said that directly to Charlie Sheen.
I forgot about that.
Yes. It's Alex Jones.
He's a good friend of Charlie Sheen.
Oh, yeah.
So he's that conservative.
They worked out together. I think that's how he...
well, you know what? I've seen your hernia.
Saw his hernia. Okay.
Mm-hmm. All right.
I think. Remember, Charlie? Remember, man, when we worked out together and you were all sweaty and I stuck my tongue on your hernia? Remember that? Just to see if that would have healing power? Remember? When we were sitting around discussing how George Bush planted all those bombs, brought down the World Trade Center tower, and I got so turned on that I put my tongue on your hernia? Remember that? Remember, Charlie?
You know what? I've seen your hernia.
All right.
Did he discuss this on Piers Morgan last night? The hernia?
No, I think so.
Here's what happened. So Piers Morgan, so you know, here's two of the most dishonest, journalists of our age. Piers Morgan, whose clear agenda is gun control. And what's his face, whose clear agenda is the government is out of control, which it is, but the government brought down the World Trade Centers, and so it's much, much worse than you think it is because they're everywhere,
And Popular Mechanics is in on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
Popular Mechanics works for the CIA.
Yeah. Popular Mechanics.
Or is the CIA, something like that. I mean,
crazy.
It's bizarre.
Remember, I am, if I remember correctly, it was this guy that said that I was the chief architect, and his evidence was he came out of nowhere. He came out of nowhere.
Well,
all of a sudden,
there's two things.
All of a sudden, he was syndicated right after September 11th. He was a CIA operative, and they brought him in so he could corral the media and play that. I mean, I am to him the most dangerous guy around because I'm duping you.
Yes, because we won't jump on the bandwagon of the 9/11 truther deal and the birther situation.
Yeah.
You're in on it.
Yeah, you're in on it. Yeah, you're on it. So anyway, why would Piers Morgan have this guy on? Well, because Piers is trying to have gun control, and he's trying to make anybody who believes in guns and believes in the Second Amendment as not something about sports, but to be able to be a deterrent to an out-of-control government, look like a madman. Mm-hmm. So now they immediately books the madman and makes him look like a conservative. He's not a conservative. He's not a conservative. I don't know what he is, except a conspiracy theorist. Everything that anyone would ever say about me on conspiracy theory, it's Alex Jones. And when they try to make me look like a conspiracy theorist, they always use his arguments and assign them to me. Mm-hmm. I'm not the FEMA camp guy. No. I'm not the birther guy. I'm not the World Trade Center guy. That's not me. That's him. And they use his arguments and assign them to me.
Which you've never espoused.
I've never espoused. Never. I don't believe in them. In fact, I wholly reject them.
Yeah, in fact, you're the one who, if I'm not mistaken, debunked the FEMA camp theory.
So what's amazing to me is here is two really dishonest people going at it, and you're watching a play, and unless you know who Piers Morgan is, and which nobody does, and you don't know who Alex Jones is, which nobody does, you don't realize this is a play for guns or revolution. That's all this was. Guns and revolution. I'm going to take your guns. I'm going to start a revolution. That's what this was. There was nobody reasonable in this conversation, and here's how it went.
Hitler took the guns. Stalin took the guns. Mao took the guns. Fidel Castro took the guns. Hugo Chavez took the guns. And I'm here to tell you, 1776 will commence again if you try to take our firearms. Doesn't matter how many lemmings you get out there on the street begging for them to have their guns taken. We will not relinquish them. Do you understand? That's why you're going to fail, and the establishment knows no matter how much propaganda, the Republic will rise again when you attempt to take our guns.
Wow. This guy's a real danger. Wow.
This is what they want conservatives
exactly
to
what they
look
want.
like.
Yep.
This is how they want every Tea Partier to seem like that guy. The screaming moron, the fat moron that you've seen screaming at the street corner. They want everyone who thinks taxes should be slightly lower to look like that guy.
They want everybody. They want everybody who believes in the right to bear arms to look like that guy. They tried to do it with Ted Nugent, but Ted Nugent is way too smart.
Yeah, way too smart.
He's way too smart, and he's charming. And so while he gets upset, and Ted and I talked about this, there was a time last year that Ted was being pushed up against the wall. They were threatening him with, you don't know what they were threatening Ted Nugent. I happen to know the inside story. You don't know the pressure that man was under. And they were threatening him with, you name it. And there came a time where he, I think in one interview, snapped and was like, what are you, out of your mind? And he snapped. They loved it. They loved it. But Ted is too smart. And so they tried to do it with Ted Nugent, but when you listen to Ted, he's charming. He's never out of control. He never sounds like that. That sounds like the ravings of a fascist. That's what that sounds like. And quite honestly, I believe that's what that guy is.
Freedom shining in your eyes. I can see the look of freedom in your eyes. Oh, it's the love of freedom in your eyes. When I look into your eyes, what do neutralized. It is the heartbeat of America, and it is why we must survive. I can see freedom taking wings. Oh yeah. See her fly. I can hear the children sing. Yeah, I can see it in your eyes. It's the love.
Why does President Obama want to take everybody's guns away?
Everybody's guns are going to be taken away.
That's right. The federal government is about to take your guns away.
The federal government's about to take all your guns away.
Whose guns?
Everybody's guns.
How many guns?
All your guns.
Call the White House right now. Because if you don't,
Here it comes.
here it comes.
I'm here to tell you, 1776 will commence again if you try to take our firearms. We will not relinquish them. Do you understand? Stalin took the guns. Mao took the guns. Fidel Castro took the guns.